Road Break family, welcome to the Royal Rumble official review and highlights results. We're going to be talking about everything that just happened a few minutes ago. And this is the first WWE pay per view of the year. A lot of expectations. We love the Royal Rumble. We were like, thanks for being with us for the Peter and predictions. And John Paul, did we WWE deliver or not? Was this a good Royal Rumble or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think, just looking at the winners of every match, I was happy with each one. I enjoyed the men's Rumble match. The women's Rumble match was all right. I think the one big thing I'll say now, and I don't have to say when we talk about them individually, is no real big surprises for either one. There was maybe one or two, but I mean, they were just former WWE people. It wasn't anybody from another company or anything like that. We'll talk about them in each individual Rumble, but I mean, Cody Rhodes, everybody knows it. He, the winner of the men's Royal Rumble, that was fantastic, and just everything that Rhea Ripley as well. Great job to her. I think that everybody called it. They said she's the most deserving woman, and then just how they ended the show. The beatdown, Sami Zayn, everything. We're going to talk about it, but I think it was a memorable show, really long. And that shitty concert that nobody liked, but other than that, really good.
To mention that, so thank you for being thank you for being with us, family. Thank you for supporting us. So let's go right into it. Like you said, Paul, like this for me very different and also like surprising to a point that like the men's Royal Rumble was actually the match that opened the show, because how like most of the time they open with like the women's Royal Rumble, or we were thinking maybe very wide and late night, but like they opened with this, and you said it was a pretty enjoyable Royal Rumble, mainly with the WWE guys. So I mean, they have a lot of roster, they have a lot of people to it, but very enjoyable. Gunter becomes the dark horse and the MVP, like you said, because he was all the way till the end, and also like the guy is just showing like his stamina, his intensity. So good job for him.
Yeah, he was the Iron Man in this. He looked great. And I mean, it's one of those things where the Royal Rumble, you can't talk about move for move, guy for guy, but I mean, you touched on it. Walter coming in at number one, and he lasted all the way till the very end with Cody Rhodes. So that was a highlight there. Logan Paul was back. Him and Seth Rollins had some interactions. He actually eliminated Seth, so that's my prediction for that's going to be Seth's WrestleMania match. I could see Seth versus Logan Paul. You saw Lesnar was only in there for 3 minutes, and he was gone. Yep. Lashley helped eliminate him. Then Lashley got eliminated, so Lesnar was pissed off. Almost breaking the announce table, everything. So that feud isn't over. That hatred and stuff. I mean, there's some really good stuff in this. Edge was one of the returns, but again, is that really a return? No, not really. So, I mean, you saw Edge, all the Judgment Day, and then all them. The feud still continues with everything.
Ray Dominic with the mask right there. Yeah. That was a little cool,
Ray was supposed to be in. He got beat up by Dominic, so he never came in. And so I guess he's still in the Royal Rumble. Him and Cody need to have a match sometime to determine who's actually the winner. But I mean, Booker T was in for 30 seconds, thrown out. He was another one who was a surprise. That not really. When we say a surprise, we meant somebody who's currently wrestling in the Indies or another company. But so there really wasn't any of that, and that was fine. WWE has a stacked, loaded roster. You weren't expecting nothing like that. Like I said, when Logan Paul came out, you go, okay, who's next? You knew who it was going to be. And Cody Rhodes came out. I mean, he was great. There was some shitty Omos and Braun Strowman, but nobody cares. I mean, when this thing came down to the nitty gritty, you saw, okay, it was Rollins, it was
Gunter,
Walter, and Cody. And then you think, okay, here they go. Logan Paul comes in out of nowhere. He throws out Seth Rollins, like I said. So that sets up what I think is going to be their match. And then eventually Logan Paul, he gets taken out. And then we see, just Cody and Walter or Gunter. Yep. And they have a long, probably at least 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes or so, just fighting. You think Cody's going to get thrown out. I almost thought, what are they going to do? It had me, excited. Everybody said, okay, it's predictable Cody's going to win, which is obviously what happened. But there was a couple times they had you thinking, I don't know, maybe he's going to get thrown out, or maybe it's going to be a double elimination, and you don't know this and that. But man, they really had Walter look like a star in this thing. And at the end of the day, Cody
This
Rhodes.
picture right here, Paul, sorry to interrupt you, but like a lot of people are talking about this because the big collision that Ricochet and Logan Paul had. So of course, like, at least they have like a really good moment there. We didn't see the things that Kofi Kingston used to do, but like like you said, the final three were really, really good. Aside of any surprises that we could have seen, though, that was the only thing. Like you said, maybe it lacked that surprise, like intense or like that surprise feeling that we always get from the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and like I was saying, then the ending. You had Cody Rhodes. He eventually, sent Walter over the top, and he wins it. And I think they almost did this first because with what you saw at the end of the show, that had to close the show. Everything that happened with Sami Zayn, the fallout. There's no way you do that at any point other than the end of the show. And at least doing this, you start the show off happy because everybody was happy to see Cody win. So at least everybody's in that feel good, mood to start the pay-per-view. So I was fine with it. Cody Rhodes winning, going to challenge Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So good stuff.
No, this is like you said, like a really, really good ending of the Royal Rumble. Like we don't see this often. We don't see both guys going at it like for as long as they did. Gunter like show like how much of the potential that he can have as being a main event player, and like the only thing, like you said, like they already spoiled the winner just because of all the vignettes, because of all the pre things that we saw from Cody Rhodes. In the end, at least he gets to win it, so he's gonna be challenging Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So that was actually really, really good. Anything that like probably disappointed me, like you said, the no uses of Rey Mysterio, like Dominic and the Judgment Day get like their moment. Beth Phoenix showed up. I thought that she was going to be in the Royal Rumble for the women's. Edge was like there for 3 seconds. So, I mean, like you said, there was maybe not that surprise factor. Like CM Punk, they were saying so many people. Other ones like from other companies, Jay White, like you said, Kazuchika Okada, that didn't happen. Let's move on to like a match that, like you said, was the bathroom break for a lot of people because of how bad this thing was. You said they called the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. So you see that there's like the Mountain Dew is being sponsored this. And when that happens to me, it takes away everything that I will be excited about. Why? Because, they already give me like a brand. They already give me like a company that is sponsoring. I don't like this. But anything you want to mention about this? Because it should have been even quicker than what it was.
No, I mean, this sucked. LA Knight, it doesn't do anything for him. It does nothing for Bray Wyatt. Then long story short, he wins with his sister Abigail. And I mean, the only funny thing about this is there was blue lights. That's how they got this effect. And Pat McAfee was on commentary. He was back for the show. He was pretty enjoyable. He said,
Pat McAfee adds a lot. Absolutely.
He said it's a good thing I washed my pants because this blue light. So he's like, you might be seeing something on my pants if I didn't wash them with the blue light. So, shout out to McAfee. The commentary team. Even in, the opening match, he was calling them Bang Bros or the Banger Bros and all this stuff. So, I mean, McAfee's always great. But no, this match sucked. And the only thing, after you saw Uncle Howdy, he jumped off, onto LA Knight. But no, this whole thing sucks. Nope. And they put it after the Royal Rumble because this is the Let Me Up match. This is where everybody was so excited from the match before. Now you could put anything on here and they wouldn't really care. So that's why they put this where they did.
Yeah, like LA Knight tried. They were back and forth. Should have been a lot quicker, like I mentioned to you. And then, we got to see Uncle Howdy. He jumped off the thing. Again, the situation with this, like the whole story that they're trying to tell us is very boring. And the fact that like Bray Wyatt has to like resource to all of these things, or the pyro, all the fire, and all these other characters just to be kind of current, I don't care for. This is the last thing that we saw. We saw fire. To me, Paul reminds me like shades of the Undertaker. Where the Undertaker did it, it was cool. Trying to recreate, trying to do the same exact thing. I don't know if it makes any sense, at least for me, Paul. So let's move on to the next one, because this one was also actually even worse than the one that Bray Wyatt and LA Knight did. I don't know if you felt this way, but like at any point given in the match, it clicked. It felt really forced between the two. A lot of people were saying that like there was a very like contested match. No, it wasn't. Don't fool yourself, because we did not see anything great here. Alexa Bliss, like you said, something very important in this, Paul. She has a terrible moveset, and that's why her character is dead. I don't like that. And Paul, tell me something about this, because it was like what, 5-6 minutes, and that was the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, Bianca's great. I didn't see the first half of this match because as soon as I saw fucking Uncle Howdy jump off the thing and fire, I thought I'm done with this till the
You
women's
needed a
Royal
break.
Rumble starts. So I really only saw the end of this, but no, that's all you needed to see. This was a match no different than they had on Monday Night Raw. They have no chemistry, and you can't blame Bianca because when Bianca's in the ring with an actual wrestler, a Bailey, a Sasha, a Charlotte, a Rhea, I don't need to name names. She puts on great performances. Against Alexa Bliss, not so much. So what's the factor? It's Alexa Bliss. And I'm not going to shit on her. She's a sweet human being. It's nothing like that. But just not everybody's meant to be a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can be a good pro wrestler. Her moveset sucks. She weighs 90 pounds. And she's not believable. And, of course, Bianca, a little bit of struggle, this and that. Oh, my God, what's going to happen? She eventually picks her up KOD 1, 2, 3. After the match, you see the freaky images, this and that. Is Alexa Bliss going to join Bray Wyatt? I don't know. I hope so. Then maybe they can both be in one segment, so I only have to skip one segment instead of skipping multiple segments. I don't know. I mean, it's just it's the same thing that didn't work before. I mean, what do you do before? Sex sells. She's good looking. Have her be a manager. I'm not saying have her go out there in a string bikini or sable with the handprints, but have her look good like a Zelina Vega or Elektra Lopez, somebody like that, and be a manager because she can talk. When she is a heel, she can cut a decent bitchy promo.
No,
so.
You're right. There's no way to have her as champion again. There is no way because nobody.
And you don't even have to do where she's a manager to a man. She could even manage a woman. One of the females on the roster. So you could do so much stuff with her.
A woman that actually is believable for her to like can go against toe to toe with Bianca, like you said, because it felt really.
Because
really
then she can do the manager spot where the ref is turned, and I don't know why we're even going on about this, but she can do her twisted bliss off the top and knock him out. She can do her
something
one move
like that, yes.
and done. But no,
I
full-time wrestler.
Because it was not good at all. It was not something that you want to see in a championship match at the Royal Rumble. Last year we got Becky Lynch and Doudrop. That finally Doudrop got her name back. We're gonna talk about this in a little bit, so that was at least cool. Next time that we meet family, we're gonna be in the Elimination Chamber. Is gonna be from Canada. So Sami Zayn is from Canada. So there you go. That's the hint right there. But they might want this to have a really loud pop for what is to come. Paul, we got to see now. Let's tell me a little about this Royal Rumble match from the women's. Like we said, also here, no surprises, and the ones that we have were they really surprises? Did they really make you pop? Made you excited? Not really. But despite that, in a lot of ways, this was cool because, for example, Piper Niven or Doudrop finally got the name back. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, this is very similar to what they did with the men's. That one of the people still throughout till the end. So and Rhea Ripley she had a really great showing. And I'm okay with the way she won, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, Rhea Ripley, the first woman to enter at number 1 and win the whole thing. And, Liv Morgan, she was pretty damn close. You picked her to win. I said, no, please don't do that. We already saw her as champ. I think it was a failed experiment, at least for the time being. I'm not saying she can never be champ again, but with all the other caliber of women, I don't know if she was ready. But man, I mean, she at least showed that she can hold her own, and she was pretty good in this. I mean, anybody can last in a Rumble. There's lots of spots where, you can just hide in the corner and, sell that you're beat up and everything. But I mean, hey, she lasted this whole time, and she held her own. She was good in this. The Dana Brooks and all them, they were shitty in the beginning of this.
Those are
Damage Control.
To
Yeah, in the beginning of this, Damage Control was kind of leading the charge, eliminating the people, this and that. I mean,
Emma,
yeah, Raquel looked good. One of the surprises you saw was Chelsea Green, which a lot of us said, but she jumped up and then got eliminated right away. So I don't know what that is. I don't know if she's hurt, and it was just a way to be like, yeah, we signed her and she's back, but she can't really wrestle.
Probably they're trying to recreate the Santino thing.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know.
The same shit as the Santino crap.
But I mean, if you're really trying to bolster your women's division and get new people in the mix, that's not a way to get somebody over. But I mean, Rhea looked good in this. Another big contender. You saw Asuka. She was kind of more in the Kana, makeup style, but still referred to as Asuka and everything. She looked good in this. You mentioned Piper Niven, called Piper Niven. It's not just me going by, being ignorant and calling them what I want to call them. No, that's what the graphics said. Commentary said Piper Niven. They were even making jokes like, do you think, she'll drop? They were trying to make jokes like do drop in commentary and stuff. So they were having a little fun with it. but she looked really good in this too. One
She,
thing I
she
like.
had a different haircut, Paul, and also she looked a lot thinner.
No,
You know,
one thing I like. One thing I like about this Royal Rumble for the men and for the women. Now, I'm not saying this for every single talent, but a lot of the big names like the Lesnars and the Lashleys, people like that, and in this, the Baileys and the Beckys, they weren't the stars. They didn't carry it. They were in there. They did a little bit. They mixed it up, and they got thrown out. Becky got thrown out pretty quick. She wasn't really a factor. Same with Damage Control. Like I said, they did a little bit in the beginning, but then they got chucked out. They didn't really do too much. You know, you saw Lacey Evans. She was choking out Zelina Vega. You know, Roxy was in there. She didn't
Roxanne
do too
Perez,
much.
yeah.
And
that was the only one of the NXT call-ups. Also, Indy Hartwell was also there. So it starts. You know, we got to see them. So that was cool. I enjoyed that, and you know, great showing by Piper Niven. So that's cool.
The big surprise, the end, the number 30, which came out like 8 seconds early. I don't know if you saw that. You know, it's the timer on the screen said like 7 or like 8, 7, but then the screen that's on the side of the ring, it said Nia Jax. So then people are like, what the fuck? And then commentary had to sell it, but it was early. So here she comes out, and I mean, they didn't pop, but they weren't crickets. I mean, there were some people that it was crickets and certain things like the Alexa Bliss match, you know. But she came out, you know, her and Raquel had a big stare down. I was almost scared she was going to eliminate Raquel. I was like, oh God, please don't do that. But, you know, they had a big stare down. And then, you know, boom, all the women hitting her. Rhea hits the big riptide. And then she's like, let's go. And then all the other 11 women threw her out. So, I mean, you know, it showed that, you know, that it took 11 to take her out. But again, a surprise comes in, doesn't really do anything. But maybe that's good because we wouldn't want Nia to do really anything or even win it. That would be awful.
Let's say it for what it is, Paul. We were fine without having Nia Jax in the roster. So, you know, and she had said that she never wanted to wrestle anymore. But of course,
hey, it was a payday. Yep, it was a payday. So she took it.
So like,
and I mean, this was good. At this point, I thought, okay, maybe Raquel, but you know, no, she gets taken out. When it came down to this final 3. I really thought, you know, and the same thing in the men's match, you know, more so when it was Cody and Walter. I like when it gets down to a couple people in a match and I go, I don't care who wins at this point. But you remember a couple years ago when it was Nakamura and Roman and everybody was like, oh my God, please don't let it be Roman.
Oh, that was
please
good. That was actually
Roman.
the 2018 one. Yes.
But, you know, I like it when it's 2 guys and I don't care who wins because then it's great. You know, but that's kind of how this was. The 3 women, you know, they're fighting. Then you see Asuka. She goes for the mist. Rhea ducks. It hits Liv Morgan. And I'm thinking, okay, you know, Ray's just going to dump both of them. But no, she just dumps Asuka. Then, you know, Liv is swinging this and that. She almost knocks Rhea off. Again, for some reason, I was going like, you know, Rumble 94 or John Cena and Batista. I was just thinking double elimination and both feet at the same time. So I thought maybe we'd see something like that here. But no, you know, she's swinging, almost going to hit her. Then eventually she just Hurricane Rana's Liv off the top while still holding on to the top rope. So Rhea Ripley, your winner at number 1. I mean, this was great. And, you know, like we said, Rhea Ripley, she was, I feel like, the clear-cut winner for the women. Cody Rhodes was the story we all wanted to see for the men. So I was fine with these Royal Rumble winners. I have nothing to complain, nothing I'd really change.
No, yeah. You know, for me, the only thing, like I said, Rhea Ripley is great on her own now. At least she's been able to reinvent herself a little bit with the mommy, with Dominic, and just being part of the Judgment Day. But like now is that, you know, maybe I feel that like her character winning the Royal Rumble is even bigger than Judgment Day itself. So maybe I will try to step away from that just a bit. But we don't know who she's going to challenge. It will be really great if she goes against Charlotte because of the good match that they had in WrestleMania, like the year of the pandemic, 2020. That could be something. We'll see. But I don't know. Bianca also is a classic because a classic from NXT. There you go. So you have really 2 cool possibilities. Paul, is it bad that Charlotte doesn't even have to be part of the Royal Rumble? You know, like it's bad in the sense that like one of the best women doesn't even have to be part of it. Just because have other people.
You could have. I mean, they had the shitty concert, which we're not going to mention. Besides that, it was just shitty. I mean, besides that, you could have had something where you had Charlotte Flair in the back watching on a monitor. Like, doing the
or
little
like come out or something.
doing the little. No, she don't need to come out because that's over. Oh, come out. Here's the music, and she poses.
No,
the
not
show's
like that, but at least, or like you said, showing like, hey, I'm acknowledging.
show her in the back watching it on a monitor. Okay, just 3 seconds. That's all you got to go. Okay, so she's paying attention, but I hope she goes after Bianca. Then she can stay on Monday Night Raw, keep everything going with Judgment Day if they're going to do that. But I wouldn't be surprised if after WrestleMania, you kind of have those groups go their separate ways. You would think Ray would be feuding with Dominic at WrestleMania. Ray is obviously going to go after whoever she chooses, and then something with Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Maybe something with Edge. They'll figure something out.
Or Beth Phoenix, yes.
But I mean, I think that this, was a good show up to this point. Like I said, the concert and everything, and then we thought.
Why was the concert needed? That's the question. I'm sorry, but
I mean, if it was somebody that was good and this and that, I can understand that because they used to do that in the past. I mean, so I'm not gonna shit on it too much, but on a pay-per-view that's already really long, like the Royal Rumble and stuff, maybe you don't. But I mean, I don't know. If the music would have been good, I don't think people would have minded it as much. But the main event match, and you think, oh, why didn't they close with a Royal Rumble and this and that? Well, it's because everything that happened after the match. But I mean, this was good. Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, kind of just typical what we always see for them. It really didn't get going, didn't get cooking. The only thing that you kind of thought okay was just Sami Zayn. He was the only one out there, no other Usos, just Sami, Paul Heyman, and Roman. And it didn't really get going until Kevin Owens, he bumped the ref. Then they're on the outside and he spears him through the barricade and this and that, and they're going at it. And then he asks him, like, oh, Sami, give me the chair. And Sami's running around looking for the chair, and Paul Heyman's like, it's under the ring. Why are you stalling? Why are you being bullshit? Give your tribal chief the chair. And Sami, he's reluctant to give him the chair. And then he goes to hit Owens, but Owens hits the stunner, and you think, oh my God, that's it. But Roman kicks out, and more back and forth and everything. And eventually, the spear, 1, 2, 3. Like I said, the match itself wasn't really the main thing. The main focus of what was going on.
Nope.
And I mean, I wouldn't even say it wasn't that great, but we've seen them wrestle so many times that they weren't going to do anything that topped a previous match they had, because that wasn't the point. The point was the aftermath. So afterwards, everything, the Usos come out, okay, they're all there. Heyman gets out his handcuffs. I couldn't think what they're called. And he handcuffs Kevin Owens, or they handcuff Kevin Owens into the ropes. And they start, before they just start kicking his ass, whatever, beating him up. Then they start super kicking him, whooping him, this and that. Then Roman gets the chair, and he's just going to cave his skull in. Sami stops him. No, don't do it. Don't do it, Roman. Don't do it.
It's done.
And then he's like, he's beat up. You're the Universal Champion. It's beneath you. You don't have to do it. Roman's like, you're right. It is. So you do it. You beat him. You cave his skull in. You see Sami, he cocks that chair back like he's going to swing, and the people pop because Roman's standing right in front of him. And no, I can't do it, no. And the bloodline, everybody, come on, do it. No, and Roman's walking around. He still doesn't do it. Roman starts pushing him in the face. What's your deal? Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? Roman turns around again, and he just clocks Roman in the back.
And that was the loudest pop of the night.
And they pop, man. I mean, Cody winning might have been louder, but or they're pretty much even. But I mean, this was close. This might have been the loudest, but I mean, this was great. The people loved it because they wanted it so bad. And he just stands there and he goes, hey guys, pretty much like, I'm sorry, whatever. And the Usos, they just start beating his shit out of him, except Jay. Jay kind of takes off. He don't want nothing he's just sitting there. Jimmy's beating him up. The Spike from Solo takes him out. Roman's like, get him up. And then they look at Jay. He's just sitting there. Jay just shakes his head. They're like, come on. What are you doing, Oos? Jay rolls out of the ring. He don't want none of it. They rip off Sami's shirt. He isn't an honorary Uso. They start beating the shit out of him. Did you hear the crowd? Fuck you, Roman.
Right there. At this point in the picture, fuck you, Roman.
And they, everything Roman did, they ate it up every week. But now he attacks the beloved top babyface, not named Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn. He attacks him, beats him up. Nope. And I mean, look at this visual right here. This is great. Sami Zayn, #1 baby face, and he didn't even have to do nothing.
Yeah,
All he had to do is just get his ass whipped by Roman Reigns. No, but I mean, this was great. Very long. The Bloodline knows how to make segments and make them way longer than they need to be.
That's what they know how to do.
I mean, this was great, though. If they would have rushed it, it might not have had that effect. You know what I mean? So, again, you cut out that shitty concert, and the show, it feels a lot better. But, I mean, great ending to it. Great Royal Rumble matches. So, I would say overall, if I had to give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, you got to go thumbs up.
I will say I will give it a thumbs up just because of this. We get to see like Roman putting all that pressure and Sammy finally, falling through it, like falling with it, like, oh my God. And like you said, I really enjoyed this part. Like the biggest thing, he tried, and we know that like he needed to get his ass kicked. He needed to get this beat down. He needed to look like this. Just for us in the Elimination Chamber, just have like the match maybe for the title, and then finally either like he has to lose. There's been a lot of reports that are contradicting themselves, but like they say that like he might lose one of those titles, so he can go to WrestleMania and then he lose the other one with Cody, because they need to split those titles, because we mentioned this before so many times that like they need to be two different champions in both shows, in Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean, if you were asking me how would you do it, Paul? Cody, I mean, almost like Keith Lee. I think it should be like how they do it. Like the babyface should win, and he should be legit. I win. I have these 2 belts. I don't need 2 belts. I'm a Monday Night Raw superstar. Here's the Universal Champion or Championship. Go have a tournament. Go do whatever you want with it. But here it is. And he just relinquishes it. And you do something creative to come up with a way, or I don't know, something. Or that's how I would maybe do it, because I don't like this whole either combine it that it's one singular belt, or just they're each on their own show. But a guy having 2 belts and this and that.
For example, if you combine, the champion should be in both shows all the time, because that way I think that like he just belongs to both shows. And then you said if they separate it, okay, then each champion is for his own show. But it's something that Vince McMahon did, and that's why Triple H is trying to fix it somehow. We know that Rock is not going to be part of WrestleMania already, so Cody's going to headline this with like Roman and maybe Sammy at some point, or like they wanted Roman to defend both nights. That's another plan that they had, one for each belt, and he loses both, maybe, or I don't know. But despite of that, like you said, if you're going the best or the good of the Royal Rumble, the winners of both of the ones. Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, great. The worst, I was even put like not even Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair. I would just put like Bray Wyatt and then LA Knight, because just the story is really boring. Adam Cole, how did just falling for that? Okay, what is that do? So LA Knight is dead. Like especially when Mountain Dew, and even they had a Mountain Dew like symbol. It's not that I hate Mountain Dew. I think it's a good soda, but that's to me that was the worst. And the concert, like you said, absolutely unnecessary. It would have saved us like 10-20 minutes of doing the review. But Paul, aside of that, like you said, it goes in the books as a pretty good Royal Rumble when it comes to the wrestling and the storytelling in Roman and Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. So it gets us excited for who's going to be in the Elimination Chamber, because normally the Chamber is not great, but there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to Elimination Chamber. I think this pay-per-view, we talked about it. We said maybe the build wasn't so great. They didn't do maybe a whole lot to get us as excited as they could have been. But I think overall, like I said, this great show. I love the ending of the men's Royal Rumble match. I was, really happy with the winner of the women's match. And I mean, this segment at the end of this, they're going to be talking about this for weeks. Yes. How good this was. So,
absolutely.
Hats off to WWE, Triple H, man, doing a great job with these pay-per-views. Just maybe get a better live talent for your music, but otherwise, great show.
And like you said, let's be honest, like let's maybe have it a little shorter, just because it takes, or start at 7. So maybe by 11 they can be done, 11:30, so we can get the review up earlier for you guys, and more people can actually be awake. More people can be reacting to it, just because it's already 1:10. East Coast in Pennsylvania. So there you go. But family, thank you so very much for being with us. We appreciate you. We love you. More content will be coming your way. Don't forget to subscribe to all the social media waves right there. Paul is going to tell you each one of them, and we'll see each other pretty soon.
Yeah, guys, make sure you follow us, Rope Break on Facebook, OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
And you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...